Okay, this is the last section for homework 3, question 25 to question 30. Let's look at question 25. Good X and good Y are related goods, holding everything else constant if the price of good X decreases and the demand for good Y increases. Good X and good Y are probably, well, they are related, so they are either complements or substitutes. The inferior goods, normal goods concept is only related to what? Income. Okay, and let's write down some notes to do the reasoning. Writing notes is very helpful. So need to okay. So holding everything else equal, the price of x, px drops, and then we have what we can consume, right? Quantity demanded for x can increases, and when this happens, right, because they are related, we have what the demand for y increases. Okay, so we consume more good x and we want more good y. We probably consume them together. When two goods are consumed together, what are they called, right? So that's question 25. Let's look at question 26. Suppose that more police and security workers become aware that wearing bulletproof vests can protect them from injury and decide to start wearing bulletproof vests. At the same time, the price of ceramics used to produce the vests fall, right? So what's going to happen to the equilibrium price for bulletproof vests? So basically there's a market. We are interested in knowing where the equilibrium price and the equilibrium quantity will go given these changes. So let's look at this question on a picture, right? More people want to wear the bulletproof vests, so the demand actually increase. We will move the demand curve to the right and say this is the new demand curve. Okay, and then at the same time, the price of the ceramics used to produce, so basically the input become cheaper. Then supply will do what? Supply will also move out to the right. This is the new supply curve. And then what do we know about the equilibrium? The equilibrium move out to here, right? In this example, we see a slightly higher price and certainly higher quantity. So let me mark it. The price slightly higher, went up a little bit, but the quantity go out a lot. And that's what we can see in the current example. Another thing we can consider is, well, maybe the supply move out even more. Then, at the new equilibrium, we are at this point. In this case, the price actually drop a little. Okay, price come down a little. But still the equilibrium quantity actually increased. Okay, so what's our conclusion? Basically the equilibrium price, we're not really sure, right? In either case, in this case, or say, we can move this one back up a little bit, but still it's an increase in the supply and the demand really increased a lot. And here we have much higher price, much higher equilibrium price. Okay, much higher equilibrium price. And one thing for sure is the equilibrium quantity is higher. So that is what we know. And let's look at what we have, right? So the equilibrium price of bulletproof vests doing what? Either increase or decrease. Do we really know that, right? The equilibrium quantity produced, we have an unambiguous direction, and that is higher, right? So that's for question 26. Now look at question 27. It is certain that the equilibrium price will fall when what happens? Okay, there are a lot of situations here, so let's look at question 27 in picture. A, the supply curve and the demand curve both shift to the right. So what's happening? Supply shift to the right, demand shift to the right, right? And in this case, we have higher equilibrium quantity, higher price. That's about it. But what do we know? Price will fall. Price actually increased in our case, right? The one case we created. And let me mark, this is the new supply, new demand, so that we know what we are dealing with. Alright, B, the supply curve shift to the right. Yeah, that's basically here. And the demand curve shift to the left. So the demand curve shift to the left. Alright, this one shifted the right, can even go more. And this is the new equilibrium. This is the new equilibrium. So in this equilibrium, what we have is a drop in the equilibrium price and an increase in the equilibrium quantity from the original point. Let me mark it here. The original equilibrium to the new equilibrium. The new equilibrium has to be with the new demand and the new supply. Okay, that's the new equilibrium point. Okay. So here in B, we are pretty sure the price will decline. And if the demand shift to the left more, if it kind of go to the left even more, it will pull down the price even further. If the supply doesn't go to the right that much, still the equilibrium price is lower, right? The equilibrium price is lower. So this is kind of slam dunk case for the equilibrium price to fall. Okay, supply and the demand, we're talking about C now. Supply and the demand both increase. That is essentially A, both curves shift to the right. So we have done the analysis. The equilibrium price won't necessarily fall. D, supply decreases and the demand stay the same. So now demand stay the same. You have only the original demand curve. And supply decreases. Supply decrease means something like this. And we chase the new equilibrium to here. What's gonna happen? You actually move along the demand curve. The equilibrium price go up, the equilibrium quantity decrease. Okay, so here equilibrium price go up in D, and now it's pretty obvious which answer should be the correct answer. Okay, now let's look at question 28. Suppose the market for gasoline is in equilibrium. You have heard that the price of crude oil is falling. Crude oil is the input used to produce gasoline. Okay, because of new oil discoveries, of course. You are also aware that the number of car and truck drivers is steadily rising. Okay, the number is steadily rising. So more drivers on the road, they all need gasoline. Knowing this, you predict that the price of gasoline will do what, and the quantity of gasoline bought and sold will what, right? Still, let's look at this question 28 in the picture. So the input of gasoline become more abundant. Okay, it's cheaper. So the supply actually what increase. So this is the new supply, and then more drivers on the road. They all need gasoline. So the demand what decrease, right? The demand can decrease a little. Then what? Then the price actually drop, right? The new equilibrium is this point, and then the demand can increase a lot, maybe up here, and let's say supply doesn't increase that much, still increasing, right? And now the new equilibrium point is this point. The price is higher and the quantity is higher. Let me mark this demand to make sure it's the new demand. Okay. So in either case, what we have, let's say in this case, right, you have higher price and a higher equilibrium quantity. So higher equilibrium price, higher equilibrium quantity. And then it can also be the case demand doesn't increase that much, but the supply increased a lot. Can be that case. Now this one I chase it to here. Okay, this new equilibrium point is the new supply and the new demand where the two meets. In this case, we have lower price but higher equilibrium quantity. So it's pretty clear the price movement, okay, the price movement for gasoline will be what? Uncertain. It will be ambiguous. It will go up or down. But the quantity, right? The quantity of gasoline bought and sold will be higher. On the exam, you need to draw this kind of little picture and base your analysis, okay, base your result from reasoning. Okay, now let's look at question 29. In the market for grass-fed beef, what would cause a price increase? And let me use the demand here and get another line for the supply. And I will change the color of that line. The right one is the supply, okay? The blue one is the demand. Alright. So price increase, maybe demand go up, right? Demand go up, price increase in this picture. Or actually supply decrease, price go up. We sort of know that. The situation is not so easy. The price of chicken decreases. Price of chicken decreases, we can eat more chicken. Then we eat less beef. Okay, so we eat less beef, demand goes down or to the left, price go down, equilibrium quantity go down. We do what? Price won't increase for beef, right? Okay. B. Doctors tell patients that beef is full of saturated fat that causes heart attack. Oh, heart attack. We don't want heart attack on us. So we eat less beef. We eat less beef, we want beef less, price go down, right? From high point to lower point. Basically, we are moving. So when the demand decrease, right? What's happening is we move along the supply curve, right? So equilibrium quantity drop, equilibrium price decrease. Okay, C, the prices of grass and corn increase. Grass and corn, they basically is food for the beef cattle, and those beef cattle don't naturally eat corn, but you can force them. Don't give them grass. But anyway, they're talking about grass-fed beef. So yeah, grass. The input price, right? To raise the beef cattle, you need input. That's grass, and grass become expensive, so the supply curve shift to the left. Okay, from this position, shift to the left. That again, we move along the demand curve. We actually have lower equilibrium quantity and a higher equilibrium price. So that's what we can get from C. How about D? There is a movement in the United States towards vegetarianism. So more people only eat vegetables, something like that. I'm not a vegetarian, so I don't know. And but basically, what it says, they do not eat beef. They don't want beef. They don't want beef in their diet, so the demand decrease, right? And you move along downward along the supply curve. You have a lower equilibrium price and a lower equilibrium quantity. And will there be a price increase for D? Probably not. All right, that's question 29. Now let's look at question 30. The market for corn in equilibrium is in equilibrium. Which factor is most likely to increase the equilibrium price for corn? Still the same story. We draw kind of very simple picture here, okay? Increase the price for corn. Demand increase. Demand goes up, okay? Or supply goes down. Lower supply. Supply shift to the left. Okay, I can move it to the left. Price increase. So a bountiful harvest, that means supply increase, equilibrium price won't increase. Okay, equilibrium price will do what? And then B, increasing production of corn-based ethanol. Corn-based ethanol need corn as an input. So there, you want to produce more ethanol, you want more corn, and then it means the demand for corn will increase. Okay, and when the demand for corn increase, we have what? Move along the supply curve, a higher equilibrium quantity, and a higher equilibrium price. That is for B. C, decreasing household incomes with corn being a normal good. So corn is a normal good, households eat corn, and they now have less money, they buy less corn, right? Decreasing demand. Again, decreasing demand. Does that give you a higher equilibrium price in corn? Okay, C, a decrease in the price of wheat. Here, what I like to do is, again, doing the reasoning. You got to do the reasoning, right? So the price of wheat drops, and then what we will have quantity demanded for wheat rises. We eat more wheat, right? And when we eat a lot of wheat, we don't eat much corn. The demand for corn drops. So what do we have in the picture? Demand for corn drops. Okay, so let's start from a higher point. Demand for corn decrease. Will that give you a higher price? Probably not. Lower price, less quantity, right? So that's for question 30 for homework 3, the last one. And hope you learned the tricks. Okay, draw this kind of little diagrams, find the new equilibrium quantity, new equilibrium price, use these drawings to guide your conclusion. Also for complements and substitutes, use these little notes reasoning for your conclusion. Do not guess. You will be allowed to use a piece of scratch paper on the exam, so make your notes, draw your little picture. Do not try your luck.